So, hi Ben.
Hi, Chris. It's me, Ben.
It's me, Chris. It's been a little while since we actually got to sit down and record something.
It has been a minute.
So this is a mini-sode.
It is. We are not quite ready. I think last time we talked, we should make a quick announcement. We said we were going to do for our Westerns by the Decade series, which you can follow if you're a subscriber. We said we were going to do the Outlaw Josie Wales for the 70s.
Yes, and we are changing that
We are
to High Plains Drifter.
High Plains Drifter. We've switched horses mid saddle or something.
Along those lines. Rather appropriately stated.
Switch saddle mid horse.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They're
my,
both Clint Eastwoods, and
my,
they're both in the 70s.
yes, yes.
I
So
understand this is probably one that you're very interested in watching, though.
I am. This is one that I was interested in watching both of them because I've seen them both a long time ago. So I was excited to revisit that era of Clint Eastwood. This is kind of his era where he post Man with No Name kind of launches into his own doing his own thing, directing his own movies, writing some of his own movies, and
Yeah.
basically launched a directing career that continues to the time of recording and into the future.
So yes, catch that next time we release an episode of our Westerns by the Decade. We're talking about the 70s.
Should be pretty soon
But
because we have
this
the movie.
week, this week is Valentine's Day.
It is.
Yes. And since everybody's talking about Valentine's Day and everybody's doing their special Valentine's Day thing,
Uh huh.
I thought we could do a special Valentine's thing.
Now, at the time of release, it'll have been the previous Friday.
You're right. Yes, it's true.
So, but in the afterglow of Valentine's Day,
Yeah, I
we
had an idea for a Valentine's Day episode, but I don't really know if it's going to work or not.
all right. Well, let's take a look. What have we got in store for Valentine's Day? A pop story and Valentine's Day celebration.
I thought we could talk about super couples.
Super couples.
Super couples.
Good heavens, you're out of my realm.
Well, it's kind of out of my realm as well. I was kind of doing a little bit of research and trying to figure out if Superman and Lois Lane were indeed the longest lasting comic book romance. Apparently, they do have some competition for that.
Oh,
Because apparently Superman and Lois Lane do break up every once in a while
they
in
do.
their long history. So they've
That
also
is
got
true.
in the for competition. They also have Mr. Fantastic and his wife, Invisible Woman. Apparently Aquaman,
When does that comic start? Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four. That's in the '60s. That's kind of starts the whole Bronze era, I believe.
Yeah, that's at the very beginning of Marvel's tenure.
Yeah, their domination. Yeah. Um, I don't know why '64 sticks out in my mind, but I don't really know when Fantastic Four actually comes out.
I feel like it's earlier than that, but I am not an expert by any stretch of any imagination.
Yeah, I probably should have done more research on Fantastic Four now.
But
I was trying
they're a
focus on
close
Superman
competitor
and
with.
Lois Lane because they're so famous.
Right.
But they also have some competition in Aquaman and Mira. So
What's her name?
I don't really. What was it?
What's her name?
Mira?
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 Okay.
You know, like
I've
mermaid?
never read Aquaman, so
Oh, okay.
I saw some
Well, I
of the
haven't.
old Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Okay. Well, I guess that really made Aquaman famous, actually. uh, I read the New 52, which I mean, there's a lot of different incarnations of Aquaman. So yeah, I have no nothing else besides that idea in my mind, and I knew we wanted to go in different directions other than movies, but I just ran out of time of research. So, yeah, Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, indeed. Power couples. So when you first said super couples, I thought you were talking about Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston and their ilk, like
Yeah,
Hollywood power couples. I didn't realize you meant super couples.
yeah, that's why I put like super couples because it's kind of funny. Anyway, I actually know very little about the whole gossip ring of the rich and famous of Hollywood.
I know nothing about it. So speaking as someone who's a regular comic reader, I feel like it's almost like a relationship in a sitcom. It kind of depends on tension a little bit. Like, will Lois Lane find out Superman's that Clark Kent is really Superman? Will they get together?
That's true. And actually, in the little research I did do, in the mid '40s, when Jerry and Jack are still writing and drawing for the Superman comic, they actually had come up with a storyline where Lois Lane finds out that who Superman is, and instead of and they become partners in fighting crime.
Yeah.
And that, of course, was shelved by the editors. They like that doesn't work.
What era was that?
That was
roughly?
in the 1940s.
In the 40s. Wow.
Yeah.
Because I know they tried to do that in the films back in the 80s. Superman 2 has kind of hinges on Lois and Clark getting together.
Well, I also know, like in the 90s, the television show Lois and Clark.
Right, yeah.
That was very much the premise.
But I feel like once you do that, the temptation is to do that as a writer, because that's what you want the fans to kind of clamor for them to get together. But then once they do, you've lost your tension, and all the conflict goes out of the story, or they have to break up, or someone's memory has to be erased.
I've seen that in a number of television programs.
Yeah.
There was one show, I think they did very well when they continuing the show, even though they did get together. I think the show Castle, I think, did very well.
Oh, yeah. I like Castle.
Nathan Fillion.
Yeah. Nathan Fillion's one of those guys who's just entertaining no matter what he's in.
That's true. I've enjoyed this new show, The Rookie, although I haven't seen like the last half season.
I have not seen that yet.
It's a pretty entertaining show.
Are they on season 2?
They are, actually. They renewed it. There was some talk about not renewing it after the first season, but they did renew it. I don't know what's going to happen for this third season because, like I said, I've kind of not watched it for a little while.
Yeah, it's an interesting time in TV. What with all the competition and all the different streaming networks and things.
There's a lot out there to watch now, and
it's kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, my personal time's taken up a lot with Disney Plus, and of course Disney princesses and such.
Yes.
So that's kind of what you watch when you have two little girls.
Yes, that and The Black Hole, because that's on Disney Plus,
That is on Disney Plus, and I have not watched it. I think I might have seen that once a while back, but I heard you talking about it because you're all excited about it.
I'm always excited about that movie. It's just so ludicrous. It's fascinating to me.
Another film I think is on Disney Plus, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but isn't Return to Oz on Disney Plus now?
Ooh, I don't know.
Because I really kind of want to see that one. A book I'm reading is a book about George Lucas.
Yeah.
And they mention it. And so I'm like...
He was involved in that. Yeah, I kind of want to go back and see that too. I saw it when I was a kid, and it left an impression on me for sure. It was quite, compared to The Wizard of Oz, for a little kid, it was quite scary.
Yeah, apparently Jim Henson is involved with it. And
Yep, there's a lot of puppetry and things of that nature. But I need to revisit that one. It's almost worth diving into the Disney Plus well.
Well, we managed to get off of the Valentines train again.
We did, but we're good at that.
I feel like all Valentine's days are kind of like that. You start out with great plan, great intention, and then they kind of just, let's just watch Netflix.
True. You're not wrong. Remember last time, Chris. That's a good thing we should talk about before we go. A couple more items unrelated to our main topic. But last time we were supposed to talk about Heart of Darkness, and we ended up talking about why we talk about movies so much. Yeah. But I assume you finished Heart of Darkness since we last talked?
I did finish Heart of Darkness.
And?
I need to go back and read it again.
It's so dense. It requires multiple readings.
It really is. And it's interesting because it's like 100 pages long. And I feel like he jumps around so much that you get kind of lost in his description, and then boom, you're somewhere else, and you're just like, what happened? Did I miss something? You go back and you reread it, like the half page that it took to get there, and you realize, no, he just jumped that much.
Yeah.
There's the material in it could have been expanded for a much longer book, and it just gets confusing.
Yeah, I think he was at a time in literature too when that sort of experimentation was kind of coming to the foray.
Yeah.
That was kind of the dawn of modernism. So I think he was kind of a liminal figure transitioning into that style of writing.
It's a fascinating story, though.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Without giving anything away, without any spoilers, can you tell us what you thought of the ending?
Honestly, I was kind of confused by the ending, and I guess this just kind of shows you how smart I am, or not how smart I am actually. But when you kind of talk to, was it Kurtz? I think Kurtz is the character.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like this guy that he idolizes, and then he finds out that he's not. He's kind of this human guy. And I was under the impression that Kurtz really thought highly of himself and kind of made other people think of him as like this god character.
Right.
I didn't catch that when he was talking to Kurtz directly, but when you talk to everybody who knew him, including his ex-girlfriend, or Kurtz's ex-girlfriend, at the end of the book, they just idolize him, and I'm a little confused on why that is. So it's as confusing in the ending for me as the rest of the book was. So I really do need to go back and read it.
Yeah, I as we mentioned last time, I need to go back and read it as well. So that's our homework assignment for, I guess, sometime this year to go back and reread.
Actually, I think I'm going to go to the library and get the Cliff Notes. I think that's
yeah. Sometimes that's helpful. The other piece of news I have to share is I'm reading for the first time an actual Marvel comic book.
Like an actual Marvel comic book?
A Marvel comic book. I have never read...
Like Marvel before? What?
No, I've never read any Marvel comics, Chris.
Really?
I think we've talked about this on the podcast in the early days. But yeah, I've always been more of a DC guy. And I'm familiar with the characters, of course, because of cartoons and movies and everything else. But I've never actually read the comics until now.
Which one did you choose to start with?
Well, going back in time a little bit, I did read a history, the untold story of Marvel, which is a history nonfiction book about Marvel Comics. So that kind of got me interested. And I decided to dive in with a compilation. It is the Marvel Essentials trade series, and I decided to start with Thor.
Good choice.
So Thor, I'm delving into the world of Marvel. I'm only 50 years behind the curve.
Well, I'm not as familiar with Marvel either. I think we've established that already previously on the show. I'm much more of a DC fan. But I have really enjoyed in the recent months reading Black Panther. So we're both starting our journeys on Marvel. Maybe I'm a little bit more ahead of you, but good job of getting
Thanks.
in there.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's the stories are not that compelling, but there are some pretty cool villains, and the art from Jack Kirby is pretty impressive. Just the sheer quantity that he was able to churn out. Because I think he was drawing like 3 or 4 titles at one time.
That's incredible.
And just, I mean, pages and pages flying off his desk on a daily basis. Yeah. And the quality is it's not fine art, obviously, but it's for comic art, it's quite exceptional by the standards of the time and even by the standards of today, I think.
Well,
so yeah, that's what I'm reading.
Awesome. So we need to read more Fantastic Four, and I need to catch up with you on Thor. So, well, I'm good on that. Did you have anything else to add?
Nope. I guess that concludes our Minisode. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Tell us what you think about what's our question of the week here. Tell us what you think about Valentine's Day. What did you do for Valentine's Day? Do you have a pop culture tradition for Valentine's Day? I know my wife and I always watch a Pink Panther movie for Valentine's Day.
That's a great tradition.
That's a tradition that we have. So yeah,
my wife and I were watching Cary Grant this year. So
hey,
usually do like a classic rom-com.
That is always a good choice for Valentine's Day. So yeah, share that with us. You can tweet us at PopStorian, Instagram also at PopStorian, Facebook PopStorian,
or of course email us.
Yes,
at popstorian.com.
We would love to hear from you. Send us an audio file or a message or a carrier pigeon, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.